this is going to be really cool because this is a song and dance about the city of Hollywood and Joseph Young. And our mayor's going to be part of the program. So something cool to look forward to. We're going to all join in a production called I Love Hollywood. So if you'll have Chime on up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to I Love Hollywood! Hollywood, Florida. The first time we did this production was about 4 years ago. And who has seen that first production? Oh, wow, that's a lot of people. Thank you. I'm not going to ask you how was it, because this is great. Oh, thank you, but this one's better. This one's better. You know why it's better? Because we got everybody involved. We've got the Hollywood Women's Club chorus, and the Music Club of Hollywood. We just finished our season, and we're going to start up again in October at Ancol Nature Center. But we plan to have a lot of different activities at the libraries. And we had a new partnership with the TY Park this year, the Friends of TY Park, when we did the Blues and Jazz Festival and all that. So we're gonna try those out. I know it's an outdoor event. It's no air conditioning, so we're gonna try out. We're gonna choose the days that it'll be nice and cold. Right. Okay. Well, when Karen asked me to do this, I said, "Oh yes!" Really wanted to do it again because a musical, as you know, it takes a lot of years, right? The Hamilton, took about like five years or something to write and all that. And that's what I was thinking of doing for the Music Club of Hollywood. That this musical will be contributed by the different organizations in Hollywood. So this year, I heard a lot of different things about, such as the police department celebrating their 90th anniversary. Is that right, Josh, or something? Right, and stuff like that. So I said to myself, hey, we need to write those into this musical so that every year, if we do that, we will put in some of the highlights of Hollywood. So this is the reason why we did that, and then hoping that the next generation of Music Club members will take this musical to another level. But first, it's still in 1920s. Okay, so before I bring everybody out, just give you a little bit of what's going on in the 1920s. I know, I was born in Taiwan. I wasn't here. I was born in Taiwan. I became 1920s Hollywood resident, that type of thing. And what I did was I read Joe Mickelson's book, the website, the Hollywood Historical Society and all that. So I said, well, maybe I should put myself into that. What would it be like, walking out the door of my house and it's just land? What do I do? Gosh, it's so different for me. And going to these different places, the Arts and Cultural Center, the Hollywood Women's Club, the Band Shell, Arts Park. So now I saw all these things, all these places, very differently now. So because once you know the history about those buildings and all that, you get a perspective that, hey, I'm in a really cool place. This is a real cool place. So that's why we also did this musical as well. But I don't want to talk too much, but I want to give you some of the highlights of the 1920s. I know you probably know more than me, but if you want to correct me, it's okay, because I'm learning too about 1920s. It's commonly referred to the Roaring 20s or the Jazz Age, and of course Louis Armstrong or the band. They started in the 1920s. They're in Jazz Age. The economic prosperity was in the 1920s. It was right after the World War I, and I guess money was flowing. Money was just flowing. There's credit. There was credit to be accepted at different stores and all that. Oops. In the 1920s, there's radical political movements that started. One person contributed this. Skirts got shorter because 1920. Yeah, so I was looking at the fashion in the early 1900s and the fashion right to 1920s. The skirt got shorter because women started to have freedom, and this freedom includes voting, dancing. And as you know, it led to speakeasies and the Prohibition era. The Prohibition began 1919 with the ratification of the 18th Amendment. Of course, we all know our amendments, right? Also, the Immigration Act, 1924. It placed restrictions on immigration. So a lot of these things, it's like, oh my gosh, we're going through this also. So it's kind of replaying itself. And 1920s, the Voting Right Act, the right of women to vote. So we, in our show, what we're gonna have is, you can see on your program, all the different scenes. If you don't have a program, there's some in the back, or if you want one up here, I have one here. Okay, and we're gonna have the Hollywood Women's Club scene where we have the younger generation and the older generation got together for this show to show you that Women's Club is for all ages. Okay, and dances. I talked a little about the fashion, and the craze in 1920 was Charleston. Yeah, the Charleston. So we have Joe here. Joe Zhang, come on up, Joe. He is a member of the Rotary Club. And he also organizes the contra dancing at the Hollywood Women's Club. So we wanted to show you a little bit about what the Charlestons like. I know you probably do know it, but for us it's kind of new, you know, the leg kicking up and all that. It's just so refreshing, actually. Excuse the technicality. Sometimes I have to work with the library stuff. So, okay. So the music he wanted me to play is this one.
The speaker's on the bottom of the phone.
Here's Mimi Lane, the famous silent film star. Mimi Lane, the famous silent film star of the 1920s. That's great. Okay, well, on your program, we're going to start with the Hollywood theme song. This theme song was written by Maria Jordan, member of the Hollywood Women's Club and board director of the Music Club of Hollywood. So you're going to hear this song twice in the show. So the first time we're going to do it with the chorus, and at the end of the show, we're going to all do it together. Okay, as a sing-along. Hey, it's a music club thing, right? We got to have our sing-alongs. And this is going to be a surprise for you in this show. And in the back of the program, see we have the Hollywood theme song, the words, the lyrics there, and also the Women's Club. It's not a theme song, but it's the Women's Club scene for you to, if you want to follow that. And we're going to have under the, well, it says up on the boardwalk. But, yeah, so the song is going to be under the boardwalk. So we're gonna project. I mean, on the boardwalk. Radwag. Is that the accent? Radwag. Okay, the Radwag. I know. But the song, unfortunately, is under the boardwalk. But if you want to say broadwalk, I think I'd be okay.
Of course.
Right? Yeah, the publishing company is not here today to do that. Okay, so I guess we can start. And actually, I have a couple of videos. Oh, they're funny. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show it on there. So just give me a second here. On YouTube, there's a lot of footages of the 1920s, 1920 jazz music, and type of music, and oops, I think it's right here. So, lights off, please. I only can show it like that. Turn it off. Oh, it's silent film, sorry. It's silent film, so just I just have to turn So really quickly, this is very short. I found this YouTube on 1920s slang.
And now, 10 rip-roaring 20 slang terms due for a comeback. Gams, legs, specifically a ladies.
Get a load of them gams on Louise. The legs are like the stock market. They go up, 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 and up forever. We got syndicated at the gym joint. That's why we spent all our money in the stock market. Rolling performance will surely continue to the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
The cat's meow, a person or thing that is extremely excellent.
America's economic performance is the cat's meow, I tell you.
Giggle water, any drink with alcohol.
Oh, God, I just lost everything. I'm ruined. I need me a giggle water.
A young unemployed man who sleeps all day.
Good malarkey. Now everyone will think I'm a no-good lollygagging dewdropper.
Applesauce, an expletive.
There are no jobs anywhere, and the trouble boys must be last. Oh, applesauce.
Plan, money.
How many grams can I get for selling my blood? I've got a whole trench coat covered in this stuff right here.
Big sleep, death.
Make my own big sleep. It sounds crazy, but I have nothing left to lose.
No one's onions. To be well informed on a subject matter.
This FDR fella sure seems to know one's onions. I'm sure he'll turn the economy around lickety-split.
Ducky. All right.
This New Deal sure is ducky. And now that everyone recognizes the wisdom of long-term economic planning, the economy will be ducky forever.
Okay, watching all these black and white films, here's our rendition. Here we go. This is Miss Angela Bishop. The first time inside the clubhouse that was built in 1927. Except the chairs in the back. So women are starting to work. So this typewriter here, remember the typewriter? The Hollywood Women's Club also was instrumental in putting the telephone system together, as well as their first library. As you can see on Angela's face, she's very pleased by all the progress. This is Joseph Young's house. It's a great building right on Hollywood Boulevard. And there's Joseph Young coming out of his house one morning. Look at all this Hollywood Boulevard I'm going to be developing. West and east. Oh, here comes Angela. She's just wanted to visit Joseph Young, and Joseph Young is telling her what's happening with all the plans. He's just telling her everything. Look, it's all mine. The Arts and Cultural Center, one of Joseph Young's employees built this art, well, it's not really arts culture, it was his house. And he was a sales employee, and he had one won the top highest salesman during that year. And he already had 2 cars. And Mr. Young said, well, what do you want? If you don't want the car, he wanted this land. So here we go, and right now it's obviously Arts and Cultural Center. And they meet again, and they're gonna go inside and visit his employee. Oh, there's Angela again. So we're trying to recreate that, a little feel of what would be like back then. So, okay, so that's our little rendition. Thanks, Howard, for the filming and making it black and white.
That's awesome.
Which is actually doable. I couldn't believe it when I saw it with the lines coming down and all that. So, okay, well, thank you for for staying with me on that. Okay, so let's here we go. Hollywood by the Sea. Ready? Okay. And turn on the lights, please.
Welcome to the I Love Hollywood musical, coming to you straight from this beautiful Sterling Road Branch Library in Hollywood, Florida,
Yeah.
and starring real neighbors like you, and you, and you, even you.
Me?
Yes, you.
Couldn't be.
Look who's coming down the street here.
It's Joseph Young.
Many people say it is not possible to build an entire city on a land that is only farmland and water. But I know it can be done. I assure you that Hollywood by the Sea will be indeed a city beautiful. Where there's a will, there is a way. I can build a brand new city. Oh, how grand it's gonna be. Hollywood, that's what I'll call it. A splendid city by the sea. And when it's done, I'll throw my chest out. I know I'll make my dream come true. And Joseph Young will be remembered. Someday I'll be in the who's who. When there's a will, there is a way to make it a reality. I'll work real hard, both night and day. When there's a will, there is a way.
Mr. Young, what can you tell us about this dream of yours? And is there going to be a downtown with restaurants and shops? Is it really possible?
Yes, it is.
How is it going to happen?
Well, many tasks laid out before me, endless meetings and delays, sleepless nights and oh such headaches, but we are surely on our way. But then one day it will be finished on a sunny Sunday morn. The crowd goes wild, cheers hallelujah, and finally Hollywood is born.
Mr. Young, you know how politicians are. Have you been in contact with the big shots in Tallahassee, like the governor, about this dream of yours?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Absolutely. When there's a will, there is a way to make it a reality. I'll work real hard, both night and day. Where there's a will, there is a way.
In 1923, Liberia was created from empty land by Joseph Young to house the many African American construction workers and other employees. Segregation was still then in force, which is one reason Young planned that Liberia would be America's new town for African Americans. Young was anticipating that wealthy African Americans would share the prosperity that Hollywood then enjoyed. Liberia is still a community in Hollywood. Then, in 1925, when Hollywood was incorporated as a city, Young was elected the first mayor, but resigned shortly thereafter to develop the Port Everglades. The Great Hurricane of 1926 and subsequent Great Depression put an end to Young's work in Hollywood. He died at the young age of 51 in his home at 1055 Hollywood Boulevard.
Come on back to the 50s. Joe DiMaggio, that's him. That's Toledo man, where the chips were down. They called him Joltin' Joe all over town. And he met this cutie, this beauty. They tied the knot, it was cool. But it so fell apart, barely broke his heart. This Yankee Clipper was Cupid's fool.
Here is the Hollywood tragedy. All his life, Joltin' Joe was a heavy smoker, and we know how that goes. He ended up as a patient in the Memorial Regional Hospital for 99 days. Then he passed away. His last words, "I'll finally get to see Marilyn today." On September 17, 1992, the doors opened at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital at Memorial Regional. His memorabilia brought in over $4 million, and that was the seed money to establish the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. Joe DiMaggio's gone, but his legend lives on, for he made his dream for children come true. In addition to Hollywood's rich arts and cultural history, in November 1918, when the young doughboys were returning home from the Great War, the women in Hollywood were busy forming the Hollywood Women's Club.
The Women's Club of Hollywood keeps marching on. It really is a club you can depend upon. The philanthropic deeds is our trust and aim to help to serve is our claim to fame. Yes, the Women's Club of Hollywood marches on. It started many years ago back in the day. Right from the start we played a part along the way. We brought joy and pleasure to those in need. And fundraising we're out there in the lead. Yes, the Women's Club of Hollywood marches on. When Wilma struck the clubhouse, the first sign of blow, the catastrophic diagnosis laid us low. The foundation quivered and was the sound. The clubhouse trembled on shaky ground. And despair and gloom brought never the nearest sound.
That was many years ago.
Let's see what the Women's Clubhouse is now. The clubhouse is a special place in Hollywood. The coolest spot we got here in the neighborhood. May its doors forever be open wide. We welcome all women to come inside.
Travel and Leisure magazine named our crowning treasure one of America's best beach boardwalks in 2010. People from all over the world have come to this 2.5-mile brick-paved walkway. Movies are filmed here, such as Body Heat, Mark on a Room, Tom Cruise's movie Rock of Ages, and most recently, Baywatch. One of the top attractions is our beloved bandshell and open-air theater on Johnson Street, which has been a landmark since 1966. Musicians come to play, and dancers come for moonlight music. It's the magic of Hollywood Beach. The bandshell.
Okay, narrator. Okay, narrator. Okay, so we're going to do the up on the boardwalk. And it's open for everybody to sing, okay? Hold on, let me just get it up. Under the boardwalk, under the sun, people having some fun. Under the boardwalk. So this one is the karaoke one. That has words on it, so let's try this one. Follow the bouncing ball. Where the sun beats down, there's the top on the roof. That's it. And your shoes get so hard, that your tired feet will lie through. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be. Out of the sun, we'll be having some fun. People walking above, we'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. From the park you hear the happy sound of a carousel. In the old states, hot dogs and french fries they sell. Everybody! On the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Out of the sun, we'll be having some fun. People walking above, we'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk. Oh! It's instrumental.
What would Hollywood be without families and friends to gather and celebrate their citizenship and friendship?
Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, oh yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. The sun, we'll be having some fun.
We'll be having fun in love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk.
Hey, you guys sounded You guys sounded great. Ah, you see, you're all in the show. This is what I did.
Is the women's club choir accepting applications?
Yes. Yes. Are you? Yes. Yes, they are.
Singers and dancers.
Sing dancers. Singer dancers. Now, you can see on your program, we're having the after party at the Hollywood Women's Club. Yay, with Joe's group. It's the contra dancing. If you've never done it before, it's
Maybe some swing and maybe some Charleston I'll toss in there.
yes, because he teaches those dances as well as the waltz and all that. So, okay, so we're at the end of our show.
Thank you.
One more time, one more.
When you exit, please visit the tables where there is information about joining the Music Club of Hollywood, the Friends Historical Library, and the Hollywood Historical Society. The Music Club of Hollywood was established over 60 years ago and has a big footprint in the music layout of Hollywood, giving music scholarships to well-deserved students who pursue music education. A special thanks to the Friends Historical Library and the Hollywood Historical Society for providing pictures you see on the screen. They are located at 1520 Polk Street, the Hammerstein House, with the main purpose of educating and encouraging public awareness of Hollywood's heritage and community to succeeding generations. A special thank you to the Women's Club of Hollywood. Have a wonderful afternoon. Join us for the sing-along of I Love Hollywood.
Sing along. This is back to your program, okay? So we want everybody to sing this, okay? Ready? There's a place like nowhere else. It's Hollywood. You'll find space and style and grace in Hollywood. Come stroll on the boardwalk and on the beach where the cool salty breezes blow. You can right by the gotcha, join in the dancing. There's so much fun for everyone. Blues or cool, just kick off your shoes in Hollywood. Folks all smile because it's just their style. Come see Margaritaville down on the beach. It's a way to welcome you. So come as you are, and you'll start in Hollywood. Thank you, everybody. Mayor Josh Savy to be in our show, and every one of you are in our show, so you'll find yourself on YouTube. Where else? Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.